Why don't you ever talk about the responsibility of women who choose irresponsible men?
He's right. A lot of women don't want to hear this, and I understand why you don't want to hear this, but he's right. There are definitely some bad men out there. There are. There are men who use women. Of course, there are. I could tell you, I was in a relationship for like 8 years. The man was a cheater. He was a liar. He was a lot of things bad. However, I have to take accountability. I had to say, you know what? You made a choice to be with that man. And then the man before that, I was with, 6.5 years? Cheater, liar, verbally abusive. Those are my choices. I was attracting those type of men. There was something in me that was broken, and I had to do some self-healing. I had to do some self-reflection. I had to go back and be like, okay, what is going on? Why am I even attracting this type of energy? And I realized that, for one, I was insecure. So the compliments and all of that, that I was looking for validation. I was seeking validation from a man instead of within myself. When I started to gain more confidence within myself, when I started to really analyze, like, nah, you need to make better choices, because these outcomes, you don't like these outcomes. And in order to have, better outcomes, you can't make the same choices. Once I started taking accountability for those decisions, I started making better choices. I started being more cognizant about the type of men that I wanted around me, that were able to be in my presence. You feel me? There were a lot of factors that played a role in those choices. My environment, the low vibrations that I was around, the people. I didn't have a lot of substance around me. I had to take accountability. When I tell you guys, when I talk to you guys about different situations, I don't blame other people. I say I allowed it to happen, because that's what happens. I allowed those things to take place. I'm so sick of hearing people talk about, man, all men are this, all men are that. And you know what? There are a lot of bad men. Again, I tell you, I've dealt with them. There are a lot of bad men. However, we as women have to accept that we chose them. You feel me? We have to accept, you know what? I made some bad choices. That was a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. It's okay to say that, because we can't say, oh, all men are bad and this and this and that. Obviously, a lot of women say that because they've had these experiences with these men, but a lot of women have had these experiences because why? The choices. I'm not talking about the men who rape women, take advantage of women, and no, they didn't choose to be with them. I'm not talking about the woman walking down the street, minds her own business, and she's robbed, and you know what I mean, and there's some violence. I'm not talking about those situations. There are some bad people out there. There are bad people out there, for real. What I'm referring to is the people who choose to be in relationships with irresponsible men, men who are not good for them at all, low vibrational, you know what I'm saying, and choose to stay in those situations. Women who, I used to be one of those women who made those decisions. And then once I started working on me, building my confidence, focusing on me, healing myself, doing some self-reflection, writing down my thoughts, understanding who I am, knowing what I wanted, guess what? I attracted better. I attracted high vibrational frequencies. My frequency increased. And that's how I found love. That's how I understood what love actually was. That's how I knew what I thought. Whatever version I thought that I had of love or knew of love was not on point at all. I was tripping. So you have to take accountability. That's the only way that you grow. That's the only way you change the cycle. Otherwise, if you choose to keep blaming men, this and this and that, you're always going to attract that. That's all you're going to see. And you're going to consume your heart and your mind with hate. You feel me? And that's all you will recognize in the world. And then you will be another person making those generalizations that all men are XYZ. But it's not all men. Take a look at self. Take responsibility and accountability. It's difficult to do. I understand that. It's hard to take responsibility. It's much easier sometimes to just blame everybody else, but you can't do that. You're not going to grow that way. Growth comes through the struggle, and growth comes through being uncomfortable. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to take accountability. Sometimes it feels bad, but you have to do it. You have to take accountability. You have to be responsible. You have to be able to say, I made a bad choice. I made a bad decision. You have to know, I want to attract this type of energy. I want to attract this type of person. But in order to attract that, you got to be that. You feel me? On that note, I'm out.